There's nothing so painful as being honest with yourself. It is the most uncomfortable thing you can ever do. Yet, it's the most relieving thing that you can ever do to yourself. And in today's video, I'm going to be asking married couples a very critical question, which is going to determine you stay in that relationship or you're walking away from that relationship. Welcome to today's video. My name is NJAU. In the first few days, I've interacted with people who are going through situations in their marriages, and listening to so many of them, you were left wondering: does this person even realize that they are not married in the first place? Like, you hear some cases and you're like, who does that and who says that to a person they call their partner? And in today's video, I want to ask married couples, those maybe you'll be married for 10 years, 5 years, 1 year, months, and I want you to be honest with yourself, because like I said in my introduction, there's nothing as uncomfortable and as painful as being honest with yourself. Yet it's the most relieving thing that you can do. It's the most beautiful thing you can do to yourself, because the moment you're honest with yourself, you're able to know that what you can work with, what you can take, and what you cannot take. Now, the question I want to ask most married couples is, are you really married, or are you just living together? And I feel like this video is going to be a long one, and I might divide it into two, part 1 and part 2, but let's just get into knowing the difference between marriage and just living together. You know, you can hear people saying some of the things that people say to make them qualify for marriage. You're left wondering, does that even count in any way? Now, I'm going to share with you some of the things that most people are situations that most people are in, and they term that as marriage. The first thing I need to address is if a man or a woman has introduced you to their family, you think that is a qualification for marriage. I don't think it's a qualification for marriage. It's a good step, because this person now has started introducing you to their family. Both parties, maybe the lady has introduced the guy to the family and vice versa. But this person can introduce you to that family, and maybe that is the only thing he has ever done in your life. So does that really mean that you married to that person? It doesn't. That means that he has introduced you to his family, and there's nothing blocking him or her from introducing any other woman or any other man in that family, because there's no commitment. He can introduce any friend, she can introduce all her friends, because you don't know who was there in the past. It was your turn to go there, so you don't know who was there in the past, you don't know who is going to go there in the future. So that does not qualify, or does not guarantee, or does not make you know that you're married to that particular person. That is assumption number one of people who think because they've been introduced to the family, now you qualify to be called married to that particular person. You can live together, he can introduce you to even his extended or her extended family, but he's not committed to getting married. He was just at that particular moment. So if that is the only thing he or she has done, that does not guarantee marriage at any given cost. The other thing that people think, or people assume, that simply because this person has done is determines or makes you feel like you're married to this person, is when this person is the provider. Maybe you're living together and he provides for everything. Let me shock you, let me burst your bubbles and tell you this: any responsible man or woman knows that they should provide for their family or their children, because even people who are not married, responsible men still provide for their families. Single mothers provide for their families. If that is the only thing you feel like, we're in this house and he does everything, he pays rent, he does shopping, he pays school fees, or all those things, and you think because he does that you qualify to be called the wife of that person, baby girl, that is not a qualification. Any responsible man knows it is their duty to provide for his or her family or the children he brought to this world. So that is not a qualification for marriage, and that should not make you feel like now you are totally married because he does all the bills. You can also do the bills. You are not married to yourself, but you're still doing the bills. So that does not qualify. That does not prove that you're married to that particular person. The other thing that mostly women think it is simply because I have a good relationship with the in-laws. Maybe your mother-in-law, the mother-in-law is your friend, the father-in-law is your friend, the sisters-in-law happen to like you, the brothers-in-law are all over you, and everybody else that is low. You think now you have qualified to be called someone's wife. Let me tell you something. I keep saying this. I am not married to the in-laws. They are part of the family, yes, but you need to understand, why am I here? Is the person that brought me here interested in me? So if the party is not interested in you, it doesn't matter if any other law is interested or loves you. If the person who introduced you to that place is not interested, any other love is non-factor. The mother can love you as love can come. The father can adore you as adorable as he can adore you as much as he wants. But if the person that the main character of that whatever situation is not interested, it doesn't matter how much they like you, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter whether you go to chamas with the sisters every weekend, there is nothing there for you to hold on, because the person you'd rather be that the person who introduced you there is the one who is holding you, and maybe the others are rejecting you. That one is something that we can just say, this person has stood by me, so this person values me and knows who I am in their life. So if it's vice versa, that you think simply because he introduced me to the mother-in-law and now we are very good friends, the mother loves me, the sisters adore me and all those things, and you think now this is where I'm going to hang around because they are going to be on my defense, you're lying to yourself. Wake up and smell the coffee. There's nothing happening. If he doesn't like you, it doesn't matter if everybody else in his family likes you. He's out or she's out. So that is not a qualification. That is not something for you to hold on to. That is not something to make you stay, because you're not married to those people. You need to understand who you're married to. This man or this woman, if they are not interested with you, it doesn't matter who else in their family likes you or wants to be with you. He is the person who introduced you there, and he's the person who should stand by you. Okay, so stop thinking that because you did this for their parents or their sisters or their everything, and now you qualify to be called their wife. You cannot go there. You can go there in his absence, but you're just going there as a friend. There's nothing attached. He has nothing. He doesn't want you to be there in the first place. You're just trying to force yourself to be there because these other people like you. They just happen to be another group of your friends. They're not family, because the person who should make you feel like family is not interested at all. The other thing that people maybe think that because this person is doing this, they qualify to be we qualify to be called married couples, is if this person posts your photos on social media or just his social media platforms or her social media platforms. Let me tell you something. I heard this from a friend of mine, and he told me that if a lady, like, you see the way people post their partners on WhatsApp status or whatever, and they were like, if you're only stupid thinking that posting you on my social media platform makes you feel special, when we all know the WhatsApp settings. You could be the only person viewing those status, by the way. So don't think that because this person posts you every now and then, that makes you qualify to be called anything in that person's life. Actually, that is a non-factor. They can post you wherever they want to post and still do some shady businesses. Let me tell you, women nowadays, an evil woman does not care if the man posts the wife from Monday to Sunday. If she wants to be with that man, nothing can stop her. You can be posted everywhere, every platform. You can be on his profile picture, and still this other woman is still going to hang around this man, trying to get whatever they want to get. So being posted on social media is not a qualification for marriage. Anybody can post anyone they feel like. And if that person is trying to blind your eyes by posting you on social media, baby girl, wake up and walk away if you have to. And the other thing that most women think that simply because this person has done, especially for women, you think because you had a wedding, now you are like, I am the wife, no one else can sit on the throne. Let me shock you. Most women, especially, it's so sad that church girls are people that church girls are the most affected by this. You think simply because you're in love with this guy and he's not a believer, and you want to turn him into a husband material, the only thing you can do is that you can just try to convince him, because you're in church, I cannot leave church, and the only thing we can do if you want to be with me is that you have to be a born again believer, and we have to walk down the aisle. Let me tell you something, a man will do anything if he wants to get you, and if he wants to sleep with you. So having a wedding is not a big deal. He'll go all the way, he'll just put on that suit, bring all his bad boys, and they are going to just dance all over, and then your life is going to be miserable. So don't think simply because we walked down the aisle, our pastor prayed for us, we went for marital classes, you're not going to change that person. There's nobody who changes unless they've made a decision to change. So stop thinking a wedding is going to change that person. Stop thinking that a church is going to change that person. If they're not willing to change, you can do a wedding as big can come. By the end of the day, you're still single. So you need to watch out. You need to be so careful before you let this thing come from this person. Don't force it. Don't try to catch up with your age, or try to think I'm too old, I'm too this. Let this thing let it flow, let it come from his heart, let it come from her heart. Because the moment you do something willingly, you give it your best. But the moment people force you to do things, you just do them to satisfy their needs. So if this person is going to walk you down the aisle, let it come from that person. Let it be willing. Let him or her be willing to do that. And especially for church girls, like I said, stop forcing people to walk you down the aisle. It's going to make you miserable. You've actually, now it gets even worse, because now you even have to go through divorces. You know, any other commitment without the law and whatever, you can just call it quit. But now when you go down and sign that your marriage certificate, that I'm married to this particular person, they can decide to make your life miserable, and there's nothing you can do about that, because you're the one who dug that hole for yourself. So some of those things that you take for granted, some of those things that you think are fun now, might cost you a lot in future. So before you walk down the aisle, let this thing be a commitment between two people who are willing to do this, and people who are mature enough to know what they are getting themselves into. And the last thing I want to share with you is, it's so unfortunate that even people we look up to in the society, and so it's so sad that even people who we are like church people who we look up to are trying to normalize this thing, that you should stay away from your partner's phone as much as you can. It is okay to respect people's privacy. It is okay to stay away from things that you know are maybe not hurt you per se, but things that don't concern you, like respect his privacy, like I said. But at the same time, if I cannot access your phone, if you cannot access my phone, that means that marriage has trust issues. I'm not saying you go through your husband's or your wife's phone from A to Z. What I'm trying to say is that I'm not going to go through your phone, but I can access your phone. If I cannot access your phone, that means something somewhere is not right, which is, I don't say I stand to be corrected on this one, because that is maybe your belief. My belief is, if you cannot access each other's phone, then that marriage has trust issues. And trust is one of the most important thing when you're building a strong relationship or a long-lasting marriage, okay? So we are left with let's not normalize that thing, to stay away from your partner's phone. I remember some few years ago, I don't know, 1 year or 2 years, I left my phone at home and my husband was home. So I called using a friend's or a colleague's phone, and I told him, you know what, you can pick any business calls and family calls. I had no issue. It had no password. I have nothing to hide. Why would I come back from town to come back home in a rush to pick a phone? And what are you hiding? What is that there in that phone that you don't want your partner to know? What is there that you don't want her to, what is it that you're hiding from that person? That means that your marriage is under rocks. That means that your marriage is shaky. It has a shaky foundation because there's something shady going on in that relationship. So if I cannot access your phone and you cannot access my phone, that only means there's something amiss. It's okay to have passwords. And some people are so funny. They have passwords even in their calculator. What are you hiding in your calculator? Passwords everywhere. You even left wondering, what is this? So if you have, it's okay to have passwords. It's okay to have all the screen locks. But what I'm trying to say here is that your partner should be in a position to access your phone. And and as a woman or a mature man, a mature woman or a mature man, you should not have access so that you can go through things that are not even your business. You have access in case you need something, and just go straight to what you wanted. Stop going to being nosy to doing other things. If someone is hiding something, it's not gonna be for long. So stop trying to check. Stop being an investigator. Just do what you have to do. But at the end of the day, respect each other's privacy. So I think I'll stop that here, and I'll continue from here next week. And now we are going to ask ourselves that after all that is said and done, so what does a real marriage look like? Because I've seen people married for even 30 years, married for 40 years, but they're lonely. And do you know why? Because they entertained all these things, or they confused marriage for all these things that I was talking about. Marriage is much, much more than all those things. Anybody can do that, but there is more to the marriage than provision, introduction, all those things that I've shared with you. So I'm going to be handling that next week, and I hope that you're going to stay tuned, because this one is gonna be a good one. This one is gonna be a good one. I've just tackled what people think is marriage, and now next week I'm going to be handling what marriage is based on how God wanted it to be, and how I've seen people who do it right doing it. Because there are people who have done it right, not because I've seen them on social media. I have people close to me, family, friends who have and are still doing it right. So catch me next week on my YouTube channel at 2 p.m. I'll see you then. Bye bye.